Okay. Okay, good. Yeah. I'm just looking. I don't have a favorite color Gatorade. I just like Gatorade. And then I was looking. Let me check. Let's check this. It's interesting. Is the microphone on? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Is it on? Am I on? Microphone? I'll let you. I was checking to see how much rain I got at my house. Have you checked any at your house? So far this month I've had a ½ inch of rain. And we're only, thank you. Much better. That's a weird thing, but I love seeing myself on TV. I think it must have been sit down in the living room as a kid, and your parents, I'm old enough, so they'd set up the projector, no video, no sound, just pictures of the family vacation. I still like that. I love hearing my voice on the radio in the morning, kind of like, oh, it's a sickness. I know. I get it, but I love it. So I've got one of those fancy connected weather systems. You know, if you're a gardener, you either need medication or you probably need like a weather station. And so I'm addicted to weather. I like watching the weather. I like seeing how cold it's going to get, how much rain I've had, how many lightning strikes I've had. So here it is. So for the month of, not August, not July. Yeah. Oh, shoot. It just disconnected. Okay. But you need internet to check it. So, and I just lost it. Greenhouses are not good for internet, but I've had 3 inches of rain last month in Eagle Ridge. That's just above the high school. So if you're one street over, you probably got 2 inches or 4. We don't know. But my house right there, this gauge, 3 inches. And so far this month, we only had really maybe a couple storms. A couple of them were pretty good, ½ inch over the just in September. And the lightning strikes, as I recall, oh, there we go. Came back online. For the month, September, lightning strikes. 657 lightning strikes. It not strikes my house, like it senses lightning. And last month was 1,293. I don't know. I don't lose sleep by listening to lightning, but it senses it somewhere, and it's tied into all the other stations around the neighborhood. So maybe it's tracking. I don't know, but it's fun to look at. So I thought you'd be interested. Anyone tracking yours? How much rain have you seen in Chino or Halden? Or I'm the only, not much. I didn't think there was very much either, but then I look at it and go 3 inches. I didn't see that coming. That's pretty good. It's good for the gardens. Okay, today, here we go. Today is on vines. I'm expanding that because I could do that in about 15 minutes. We'd be done. And I've got gardeners sitting here. So I included some ground covers because vines are used as either climbing things or ground covers, both. So it kind of ties in. And then, just because it's fun for me, we got some cool new hardy cacti I want to show off. You just don't see these every day. They're pretty cool. So if you're into cactus, stay. And if you're not, you're welcome to leave right after the ground cover piece. But it'll be interesting. So, hi, my name's Ken. I own the garden place. This is mine. This is my daughter. Yeah, thank you very much. My daughter, Mackenzie. She was Retailer of the Year. She just passed the baton to the next Retailer of the Year out down in Texas, San Antonio, Texas. As the next Retailer of the Year. So another garden center owner. That's a huge honor in our industry. So it's like 1 a year out of 10,000 garden centers. She was the one last year. So well done. Yeah, well played. So well done. She's doing a great job. She's the general manager. Any complaints, go to her. Me, we can just talk gardening all day, and it's fun for me. Complaints, oh, it's her job. Okay, so vines. We grow a lot of vines here. Now, let's just get it out of the way. Bougainvillea, not going to grow here. It's going to grow great. That's the Phoenix folks, Palm Springs. Bogies are great down there. Up here, not. They'll do fantastic. We do sell a few of them as annuals. That is, they're going to look great in the summer, but come December, about Christmas, they're going to vaporize and not come back. So they don't take our cold. So that's a zone 10 plant. We are a solid zone 7, or we flirt with zone 8. What does that mean? That means we need plants that can go down to at least 10 degrees, maybe 0. Zone 10 is if you look at them cold, they die. They stress out. They just can't handle even the thought of cold, like basil. Basil, if you look at cold even remotely, it just goes, I'm freaking out. I can't take this. It's under 50 degrees. So anyway, that's bogeys, okay? We do grow these, honeysuckles, chocolate vine, and we'll go over these. Our most famous native, let's get these guys. This one grows wild. You'll see it out in the forest. And its companion is, here's another, there we go, right there. This is called Virginia creeper. It's one of the first plants that turned red in the fall of the year. It kind of announces fall, so autumn. So autumn is this month. It's about 3 weeks away. This will be in full red the first day of autumn. So it's a true hardy native vine. It's naturally grown underneath the oaks, the junipers out in the forest. You'll see it growing as a ground cover underneath those. You can easily train this up that cinder block wall that makes you feel like a prison yard more than a backyard. This softens that right up and attaches itself and just looks beautiful. And when it turns fall red, I mean, it's like a showstopper, like fire engine red, like redder than that hat right there. It is red. It's beautiful. So, and super hardy. Animals don't eat it. Javelina, deer, rabbits. It's a native. Once it gets established, you can let it go by itself. True native, okay? We get bored with plants. So this is what you see growing wild, and we breed character into them. This is the exact same plant. This is a blonde. This is brunette. This is like we've got this variegated white speckling to it, which makes it interesting, especially in a more shaded area or darker area. This will grow in sun, shade, wherever you put it, it will grow. So it's pretty tough. I would water it kind of like I would a tree, about once a week. It's more than enough. It's got a real fibrous root. It's got like a potato tuber underneath. So it makes it, that's why it's so hardy, so robust, and can take these drought cycles that we have. And then it will take the wet cycles that we have. That's hard for plants to adjust. This one does it really well. Okay, Virginia creeper. Let's see, put that right back here. This is one of my favorites here. Everyone wants an evergreen. There's only 2 evergreen, well, 2.5 evergreens that grow here. Where's my ivy? Right here. These are the evergreen vines. And this one thinks it's evergreen. Well, yeah. This one, holly or honeysuckle sometimes. This one's an evergreen though. So these are the evergreen ones. So English ivy. This is probably the most famous. Can you take a look at that? English ivy, isn't that pretty? Ooh, you should come down and see us. I know you're sipping coffee and the refrigerator's calling to you. You've got another Zoom call later today. Come down and see us. Ivy, anyway, this is English ivy. Now, this will fool you. This grows out in full sun in other parts of the country. East, Midwest, California, not here. At this elevation and this altitude and just the intense sun, it tends to grow really well on the east and north sides, very vigorous. And as soon as you get it out in the sun, it starts to burn. The leaves get brown tips. It just looks terrible. It will live. You'll just hate it the whole time. It's struggling all the time. You can't water it enough because the intensity of the UV rays is what gets it. So if you're from other parts of the country, you've grown it, this one's going to be more of that protected area under the canopy of trees. If you get that backyard, they dug into the hillside. Now you got a rock face and it's kind of shaded off that back patio. Perfect. Let it grow up that. As soon as it reaches the top, it'll self-prune. Just go, oh, the sun, I don't like it up there. I'll just stay down here. And that's what ivy does. Okay, with this, if you were doing that, I would plant this. I would take this stake out. I'd take the tendrils off and I would pin it or train it to go where you want. That's pretty much good for any vine. They have a mind of their own. These are wild plants. They will You stand still long enough, they will attach themselves, go inside for dinner if you're not careful. They just are aggressive growers. So you want to make sure you train them where you want them to grow. And when they get to where you want them, you don't want them anymore, just trim them. Don't let them grow anymore. Just start cutting on them. They like that. They feel pretty and they feel, you cut on them, especially things that bloom. This one doesn't bloom. Actually, I did post. How many follow us on Facebook, social media? How many people do social media? Okay, over half, well over half. Facebook's #1 for us, and it's Instagram. Actually, YouTube is #1 by far. 1 million downloads. It's crazy. And trending, it's crazy. So we appreciate you tuning in on YouTube. That's part of the reason. But I was pruning back my ivies in my own yards, and it was blooming. I've never seen an ivy bloom. It was very funky. It's Dr. Seuss looking. And I went, oh, I've got to pull my phone out and take a picture of this and show everyone ivy blooms. And the caption is, does ivy bloom? So if you want to see what my yard looks like, follow me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, whatever your favorite media is. I'm there. And you get to see not the whole thing, pieces at a time as I'm working out in the yard. It's kind of fun. But anyways, has a white flower, kind of comes up straight, has white bulby looking things, and it's in bloom. Only 2 blooms on this big vine, but it was kind of neat. Yeah. What do you pen vines with? Almost anything. A rock. I weaved it in the chain link fence or up over the barbed wire, or they make go to the irrigation shop, True Value, any of the hardware stores. They'll have a wire pin. Just kind of pin it with that. You could take any kind of wire, probably hangers, cut them up and bend them, and just anything to pin them down. Doesn't take very much. And you're really only pinning the top, not the whole thing. So just a little bit goes a long way, and then they'll usually start to root out up and down that stem wherever it's been pinned. So to a boulder. Is there a way to attach it to a boulder? Duct tape? Not very classy. If you're in the mobile home, now I raised my family in a double wide, so on a farm. So and they took piano lessons from their great grandmother next door, who also lived in a trailer. It was a family compound. So not to put that. Sorry, those of you that are looking at, didn't mean to put mobile homes down. But you're in the boulders. Probably you could get a rock or something to get it started, or spin it towards plants that self-attach. Some do that really well, like Boston ivy, like English ivy will just grow. I've got a loofah gourd I'm growing in my vegetable garden. I had first time I've grown that. It's a big, basically pumpkin-like plant. It must be from me to you. And over there again. And now it's growing up the juniper tree. It's now growing up and over the fence to the neighbor's yard. It's self-attaching, grabbing on and going. Some vines will do that. So get those, yes. Oh, I love it. Use aquarium glue. I have no idea what she just said, but fellow gardeners are willing to share. That is pretty cool. How do you use aquarium glue? Is that
in a tube?
Tube.
Like glue. What you're going to do is you're going to, same idea, because aquarium glue will take the water when it gets wet. So you put a dab of aquarium glue, put your vine, and then put a piece of tape across it, just to kind of keep it started there till the glue hardens.
Nice.
And then it's waterproof, and then so you can water it.
So she's saying aquarium glue that you get from an aquarium shop or someplace. I bet PetSmart's got it.
Pet shop.
Put it down, glue it in there, put a little piece of tape over it, let it solidify, take the tape off, and it's there. Voila. Something else? Chicken wire. That's good. Putting chicken wire over your boulder and have it climb up the chicken wire. It's good. Yeah. Different ideas. See, we share gardening. It's all about social. Okay, this is chocolate vine or akebia. This is an evergreen. This is probably one of the most aggressive of all the vines. This thing will literally, it just grows like crazy. I grow this up a 6-foot fence, and then I have it going up onto the patio, and I've got a metal, basically bench that it goes onto, and I shaped it to look like the bench. So it looks like, oh, cool, what is that? It's down there. Just wanted to soften up all this block. It looks so sterile, give it that living, breathing life to it. And then I had it grow up and over. Now it's art. And so its claim to fame is in the spring, it has a tiny little flower you won't see, but it smells like chocolate. It truly smells like chocolate. So chocolate vine, or akebia, 5-leaf akebia is the name. Loves growing here. I know from personal experience, elk, deer, javelina, rabbits, that nothing eats it. It looks delicious, but they don't eat it because I put it right out there where they roam, and it's just fine. But akebia is a great one if you want big. If you want to grow it up that, what is it catching on? What is going on? It wants to grow right there. Oh my gosh. Tangerine crossvine. This one's pretty versatile. This is also evergreen. Has a big orange flower on it. Looks like that. So it really does get covered. Kind of a slow grower compared to that one. Half the speed, if not a third the speed of akebia. But a good, consistent, methodical grower. This one would grow great on a fence line where you want to keep it 6 by 6 and just let it stay there, easier to maintain. I'll tell you later at the end how to actually maintain a vine. But for now, this is a good, consistent, methodical. Hummingbirds love the flower because it's got that big tubular shaped orange flower to it. Good, strong grower here. This one is pretty versatile. It will take the hotter spots in your yard. It'll take that blistering hot south side of your garden or up against that wall that just bakes. This will take that really, really well. Tangerine crossvine. And this is probably the #1 seller. So I have the other one too. Yeah. We got both. So honeysuckle, #1 seller. Yeah.
Will it attach to a block wall?
No, but it's real easy to put anything up there to attach. A wire just up there. It'll start to attach just like that. Once it's to the top, it just climbs up and hooks on and keeps going. Honeysuckle's #1 because we use it as a landscape feature, almost like a shrub, up the hillsides, erosion control. It's just consistent. This is the one that you used to have as a kid with yellow and white flower. You pull the stamens out and it has that real sweet smell to it. The animals seem to leave it alone. So javelina, they're not going to dig it up and try to chew it down to the ground. Deer are not going to chew it down to the ground. It's real consistent. You can count on it every spring having just being covered in these yellow flowers. Yellow's great, but you can have too much of a good thing. So we also have it in purple, red, orange, comes in different colors. So this is a purple honeysuckle because the foliage has this purpley tinge to it. And then the flower is much richer, yellow with a purple vein through it. But they're the same. Full sun, they need at least 6 hours of sun or more for aggressive growth and pretty flowers. This is one you can put up that fence. One of these will cover probably a 6-foot fence by 8 foot wide. In a season, no more than 2 seasons. Fast. It will grow fast. And then a quickie on that. What I will do with this is I'll take my hedgers or trimmers and I'll cut it back as close to the fence as I can, usually in March. Cut it back real hard, shape it, and then I'll fertilize it and it will bloom even better. Otherwise it gets woody, starts to get thick, too wide. In the yard, growing out as a ground cover, it's different than up a wall or up a fence. You kind of want it a little more groomed or maintained, kind of privacy screen kind of thing. Trim it every spring. It'll keep it looking really good and it'll live a lot longer. Otherwise it gets woody on the inside. Okay. Questions? Yeah.
Transplant, well, my landscaper put them in the front of my house and I don't know what to do with them there. So I wanted to move them, but.
Can she move her honeysuckle because her landscaper put them in the wrong place? Yes, you can do that pretty easily. Timing is everything. If you're going to transplant, I would do that late winter, early spring, like February, March, when it's just truly cold As soon as the ground starts to thaw, which we don't really freeze too much, but you can get an ice layer, usually in January. But since that thaws in February, just move it. Yeah, just move it. And have a sidebar note with me so I can give you a little more on how to help it with transplant shock, because it's going to freak out when you do that. Honeysuckles are great. Super easy to grow. They are deciduous. They're going to lose their leaves in the winter, mostly. If it's a mild winter like last winter, they didn't. They held their foliage. It was really mild. So it just depends. If we're going down closer to 0 or single digits, it's going to be deciduous. We just get down the teens, it's going to keep its foliage. Yep. They're like, yeah. Yeah. So we're into pruning techniques of honeysuckles. How far? Because they've gotten woody as a landscape shrub, as a yeah. So you would prune it back heavy in March. And the reason I do March is it's going to look butchered. And if you do, you could do it in November, December, but it's not going to grow until March. So why not just wait to have that cut back hard look? I try to do it right before I know it's going to flush growth. So that's why I like March for my hedges, for most of my pruning. So I don't have all those heavy prune marks all over it. Fertilize it with the all-purpose plant food and it will just flush with new growth. There is a life cycle for these plants. They are not forever. And I doubt if they're going to outlive you and I. These things, because they get woody, they choke themselves out. They're high maintenance. They're going to take some care to keep them looking vibrant. So those have been let go some. They haven't been cut back as often. So ideally what I would do for my honeysuckle is I'd go back into the core and I try to cut out 1 or 2 of those big, thick, woody stems, just 1 or 2, strategically pull those out. So I have regenerative, new, fresh vines coming up. Because that soft green foliage, that's where you get the best flowers too. So junipers the same way. They can get real woody if you don't cut them back every once in a while. Yeah. So if I'm taking out just single stems, I go as close to the ground as I could, if not to the ground. Just if it's big and woody, take it right out. Roses, I do that with roses. I'm going to show you I'll show you right now. These guys, this is a brand new, never been seen before. The only place in the state that has it is Waters Garden Center. It's a yellow autumn sage. These only come in red at Home Depot, but at Waters Garden Center, they come in yellow, red, cherry berry. They're cool looking. These are easy to grow plants. They get about this high, kind of mounding. Hummingbirds love them, but they can get woody on the inside. So every year in March, I try to take out 1 or 2 strategic back as far as I can. So I've always got fresh, new branching coming out because that's where the best flowers come from. So autumn sage or Salvia greggii, yellow. This is also a new color. Is that cool? Look at that. Put that together. It's kind of neat. Red is so boring when you can have these, especially when you sold 1,000 of them. And what else is there? That's cool. And then orange, brand new color. These look their best in the autumn. That's why their name is autumn sage. But they start blooming truly in May, end of April, May, and they'll keep blooming through autumn. But all of them the same size, just redhead or blonde. They're the same plant, just the flowers change, kind of like a rose, very much. Okay. Great question. Where was I at? Let's see. This is
What was the sun of chocolate bar?
full sun to full shade. I've grown it everywhere. I find it blooms a little better, has a little bit better growth in at least 6 hours of sun. It really is going crazy. Gets a little wispy. I had it in the shade in an orchard down in Skull Valley, and it really grew fast, tall. Wasn't as thick. It's thick and full in my house now where it's in more sun. So this is trumpet vine. This is probably the most famous of all the summer blooming vines. This is a big boy. He wants to go to the top of your house, grow over and go out the back door. He just wants to grow, grow, grow big. It'll easily grow 10, if not 15, if not 20 feet long. So you train it to go up your arbors, up your pergolas, up that fence, train it to go that way. And it'll have these great big red flowers to it that the hummingbirds just think they've died and gone to heaven. Super drought hardy. So it's probably one of the hardiest of the vines as far as drought hardiness, that kind of, and consistent blooms. I think the reason that is, it's a little late to wake up in spring. So all these guys have already started leafing out and growing. This is guys just starting to think about growing. And then it finally gets warm and it just ignites with new growth. So big old flowers consistently. They look like just big red flowers. It's real pretty. This is trumpet vine. Doo-doo-doo. Yep. It's deciduous, yes, very much. Full sun, hotter spots in the gardens. That's where you want it. This is great on those block walls, fences. I've grown it down chain link. I've grown it down barbed wire. It's great. Just right out there in the sun. Okay. This is one too. If you're growing it up a fence, I would very much in March just cut it right back as close as I can to the fence, top it right off to the top, fertilize it. You'll have fresh new growth. It's a way to keep it looking groomed. These are wild plants. If you let them go, they're just going to go crazy. They're going to look wild, but you can keep them very formal, very tidier, kind of neater. Yeah. So how close do I plant a fence? Let's just talk spacing. These big boys, I'll put one about one every 8 feet or so. Just because if you want that private garden look, you kind of want this overlapping pattern. Each one of these are easily going to get this wide and this tall in short order. And then how close do I plant? Depends on if I hit a rock or not. So I'll try to get as close as I can to the fence. But I've hit it where I can't quite. Something's there. I hit a footer. You know, your fence posts have footers there. So I'll usually plant it in the middle of the fence, so I have to deal with that, so I can get a little closer to the fence. But as close as you can, then I'll take those stakes off, and I'll start to tie it, or I'll pin it, or I'll train it to go where I want it to grow. And so I'll just take that and fan it out and go, oops, dunk, dunk, just tie it on there. I'll use that green tie tape. Just tie it on there, train it. Once it's going in the direction it wants to go, where you want it to go, it seems to behave. But if left unchecked, it just goes everywhere. If you're planting at the top of a hill and you want it, they go to the moon. But they can be trained to go down. So you just plant at the top of the hill and you take it apart, train it and pin it against the wall. It will start to train to go. You can train it to go down the hill or up the hill, either way. Yeah. Yeah, when's the best time? You plant them right now. If you want aggressive growth, plant them now. Fall is kind of a window for growing, especially things you want a lot of growth out of. Shade trees, plant small now, and then they're going to root out through the winter. They'll actually root to the end of the year. You're going to take all that energy, and they come out with way more growth next spring. With a vine, you kind of want it to spread out and cover things. So, and never water it again until next May. You're gonna have to spot treat a couple times a month, even in January, midwinter. You just plant it and let it go by itself, you're gonna get winter damage. But if you water it, comes through with starting March, it just takes off the new growth. That's really important for Arizona cypress, junipers, spruce, pine, firs, all your conifers. They really like to grow in spring. Yeah. Yeah. Let's cover planting in a second. We'll go to the end. I have 3 handouts, And I guess I'll include the planting guide with that. So you'll have that in your inbox. Maybe not today, it might be tomorrow, but as soon as I get a break, it's been pretty busy on the Saturdays lately. Did I have a pen with us too, Mackenzie? Yeah, there you go. I'll email that out to you. I've got all the vines that grow here. That'll be to you with pictures, descriptions, how they grow, what sun, all the details. There's 9 of them, the top 9, maybe there's 10 vines that grow here. So I've got, where to go? I've forgotten already. What does that mean? Anyway, they're coming to you, and I'll include the planting guide, which also says watering, what size hole. These guys do need, don't just chuck them in the ground, but let's cover that at the end here, okay? This is clematis, and then you're seeing, I brought this example just as you'll see them in 2 forms, especially. So this is clematis. This is one that gets that great bigness in the Midwest, but it grows amazingly well here in the mountains. Clematis, where you grow clematis is you want to plant it where it grows up into the sun, but its roots are in the shade. So where at the north side of a fence, it's going to grow up, get to the top of the fence, and it's going to start blooming like crazy. It wants cool roots and bright tops. And that's where you grow clematis. Comes in whites, purples, pinks, reds, all kinds of colors. But most folks, it's the only one that puts on that gigantic flower to it. It's just amazing. I grow mine in a pot, and then I do an underplanting to some flowers. And the flower, I'm using the flowers to shade the roots of my clematis, have it growing up a structure. So anyway, grows there. And then I brought this as an example. There's, come out of there. You'll see many plants, really English ivy and honeysuckle are probably the 2. You'll see them grown staked or unworthy than the other. We grow it this way so we get more plants in the field, but they naturally grow out. Now you see, I told you to turn that phone off. Here you are. Everyone give them a hand. There we go. There we go. Yeah, thank you very much. Turn your phones off, folks, at least while you're in class. But this is how they naturally grow. In a farm setting, we're trying to get more plants per acre, so we're trying to grow them up so we can just, and they ship better. But when you're planting them, you're going to take this out of there, and then you're going to spread them out. So that's the difference between the two. There's not one that's right or wrong, whatever you can find. Usually the 1 gallons are grown like this, and the bigger ones are grown with stakes. That's just the lesson there. Okay. All right, that's vines. Let's cover a couple honeysuckles or ground covers.
Climbing roses versus vines and when it might be appropriate.
Oh, that's a good idea. I do, yeah. That's great. Thank you. Roses. I forgot to bring a climbing rose. I should have done that. You see, I've come in, put this thing together in my head, and there we go. I should cover climbing roses are a great way to go. Roses grow well here. They love the bright sun, and they love the dry. So we don't have the issues that more humid climates get. The mildew, pretty low maintenance. And we don't get cold like the Midwest. So in Wisconsin, Michigan, you're cutting them way back, you put chicken wire around them, you put leaf litter to insulate them. We don't do any of that. We just leave them alone. And then we just prune them back in March, fertilize them, and they start to bloom again. Usually by about Mother's Day, they're in full bloom. So Banks rose. It's also called the Tombstone rose. Downtown Tombstone, there's a 200-year-old Lady Banks rose. It's got a trunk on it like this, and they've trained it up. It is the pride of Tombstone. Everywhere else in the country calls it. It's the only evergreen, thornless rose. It only blooms for a short time in spring. It's not the best looking blooming one. Doesn't really have a fragrance, but it's evergreen. It's thornless is kind of cool. Anyway, that's a good climbing rose. And then all the other climbing roses do really well. And then add some more sun. I pray that's Alaska sun. Like there's only an hour worth of dark. The rest of it's sun. That's what it wants, sun. That gets you more flowers. Yeah. Grapes would be another one. Brambles could be another. Blackberries, raspberries. These are all climbing. If you want fruiting stuff, you can do that as well. Okay. Very good. Thank you. You all set? Let's cover a couple of these ground covers, this stuff. This is one, just because I know so many vines are used to just spread across the ground. They don't have to go up. So Yavapai College uses this one, the trumpet vine, quite where. They use it really well underneath the trees going up the rock lawns, just as a ground cover. It's beautiful. So it's really pretty. It blooms wherever. So mostly you see this up a fence, but you don't have to. It can go up that wall, up that boulder, up that, or over or down or washing away right now. This could work that way too. Yeah. No, this doesn't care. Just doesn't care if the roots are cold, hot. Just put it in the ground and it will find a way. It will search out where it wants to grow. Yes. It will take over your pergola. Your shade that right out. And that's the beauty of a deciduous plant in that area. Having the shade in the summer with the sun in the winter, because we enjoy our outdoors. I mean, 11 months out of the year, pretty much. It's nice. So to have it drop its leaves is good. This is a wild plant. You'll see this one and the Virginia creeper. These grow together very much in the same spots in the wild. This is Oregon grape holly or Mahonia. Come on, take a picture of the tag later. This comes in 3 different heights. This is the shortest height. It's called creeping Mahonia. This is the compact, which gets about knee high, and a regular one gets about hip high. So you get this, or this. They're all the same plant, all hardy, all tough. No animals eat this. Has a beautiful yellow flower in the spring. Now the reason where it gets its Oregon grape holly from, it does put a little berry on. They don't taste that good, but they make jams and jellies out of it. The birds love them. They love the little berries. So, but it's a great little evergreen. I grow this underneath my junipers. Junipers have a way of killing everything. This soil chemistry changes underneath the junipers, trying to protect its root zone. This guy can take that, and it's quite striking. It's pretty. So shade, sun, wherever you want to grow it. I've got mine in the shade, but I've seen it in full sun. I haven't found it choke out the juniper. I got a beautiful, gigantic juniper, and it hasn't. If anything, the juniper is doing better because I've got somewhere I put irrigation on this when I first put it in. Now I couldn't find it because it's just a thick mat of green like this. But the juniper is benefiting from that as well. Plus, I fertilize this every once in a while, keep it looking lush and green. The juniper loves that too. So I'm taking care of my natives because they get stressed out like other plants. They've been stressed out this year. Plants have been stressed out. It's hotter or drier. Something happened. They really stressfully do for my plants just to get them through. Yeah.
Berries on it. Let it. Mice like it.
Do mice like them or voles? I haven't found that to be the case. Maybe, I would think. I have pack rat problems, so I've got a trap line. No, not at all. I have not been seeing that to be the problem at all. Yeah.
Those come from the Northwest, and those are native plants and grow very well underneath evergreen, and they spread naturally too through the berries up there. I don't know if that would happen.
They spread here too. So he's saying he's from the Northwest. It's Oregon grape holly. It grows wild there too. Actually, I think the bigger ones grow there wild. This is the only one, the shortest one grows wild here underneath the conifers, the evergreens, because they like that acidity that the leaf litter throws off. And they do adapt really well to that. Yep. A couple others. This is the most famous ground cover in the perennial gardens. It's left. This chokes out everything. It's called periwinkle or vinca, or it's got several names around the country depending where you're at, but vinca is its botanical name. It's evergreen. This is called so it just, you can see, just wants to keep spreading like this. Everything. Along with primroses will also choke out everything. So I usually will put this off to the edge over there where it's kind of neglected, where the irrigation just misses it, kind of keeps it in check. Or I'll use the front edge of my containers because it flows over. Got a few flowers on it, but about the size of a quarter. Blue flowers, just a pretty good, just a great little ground cover. Goes in sun, shade, pretty adaptable. I find it blooms longer, better, stronger, in a more shaded east coast, east or parts of the garden. At south exposure, it can get a little bit, it doesn't bloom as long. So, but it will grow there. I really do use a lot of these in my container gardens because they just flow over so well. Vinca. This one I use for my pollinators. This is a nice, it's about just under knee high, mounding. It's called cat mint, but butterflies, bees, your pollinators love it. And it's a consistent perennial, because like year after year after year. Super easy to grow, just on neglect. I've got it right out there in the full sun. Insider tip on this one, what I'll do is it starts blooming really early in spring. When the bees first come out, they're starting to forage, they're really hungry. They really find this attractive. I'll keep it blooming until the swallowtail I'll cut it back real hard, fertilize it, and it comes right back into bloom. And now it's in full bloom right now through the end of the year, through the end of the growing season. So in November, eventually the cold comes and knocks it back. It hibernates underground. It's just a tremendous pollinator for the gardens. And the animals don't eat this. They don't like, the rabbits, they don't like the smell of heavy herbal plants. So yeah. Yeah, is it similar to other mints? No, it's not like a regular mint. It's not mischievous. It's going to keep it start growing to the closet. It'll just start, it grows everywhere. It's not that at all. So this is one you could grow right there in the yard and just stays in its spot. Doesn't reseed a lot. It's pretty easy to grow. These two are similar, but I find they do. Grandparents called it coral bells. So all the magazines, horticultural magazines, call it heuchera. Comes in different foliage colors. Same plant, just different colors. I've got it in green, bronze, chocolate, purple. It comes in a lot of colors. It's called coral bells because those flowers, though, are real small. It'll actually hover above the foliage, and they kind of have this hooked or coral bell looking dozens and dozens and dozens of flowers on them. So, but you're really planting it for this. And it does this virtually year round. So it's one of the perennial. January it'll look a little rough. I'll take my trimmers and just whack it right back. By February, it's growing again, and it looks fantastic. So heuchera is one of those ground covery things. Gets about like, I don't know, 2 by 2 by 2. Nice metal ground cover in the more shaded parts of the gardens. Okay, heuchera. I use this in containers because it's just one of those few evergreens. It just looks good, you know, at Christmas. It just looks good. And then this one you may not know. This is lily tuft. I've got this right out in the yard. This is a super tough plant. It's a grass, not really a grass. It's not a bulb. It's something in between. It's a lily tuft. It has a flower to it, but you're really doing this green foliage that's year-round green, and it just mounds and it spreads. It's a clumping grass. So it just kind of keeps doing this, but it's real soft, not like a yucca where it's real stiff and poke you, or agave which wants to skewer you. It's a great little evergreen mounding thing. What's that? What's that? Oh, it does. Yeah, it does. Okay. Yeah. If the dog's laying it, does it bounce back? The question. Yeah. It does okay. Yep. These are related. And this transitions to the native cactus stuff. It's kind of cool. These are sedums or well, stone crops. They got several different names, but they're basically a cactus without thorns. They hold a lot of moisture in varieties. You got to be a little careful, you folks from the Phoenix, Palm, Southern Cal areas. There's a lot of tropical varieties of this. So they bring their collections over. They thrive through the summer, and then come winter, they die. They freeze out. So you want to make sure you're checking your zones. You need one and be just fine. So get enough antifreeze in them to keep them from freezing. There's a lot of models that don't have that. And so these are a couple different varieties. Sedums. My autumn joy sedums, probably the most famous one locally, gets about the stone's in full bloom right now. It's got this. So these guys are really robust, good ground cover kind of thing. We use these in rock yards, rock gardens, down the driveways, in containers. This will actually get a tendril that grows down over the containers, quite striking. And they're mostly evergreen, most varieties. So hold on right on time. I love it. How about when a plan comes together? Now comes the dangerous part. Everyone wants cactus. I have really gone on a mission to find hardy varieties of cactus that will winter over up here. Most cactus fall over and die. So our most famous is prickly pear. Everyone's got some of those that come up wild, but then you've got some of the funkier, neat, different colored pads, different colored flowers, different spine patterns. Yeah, cute little thing. Respect it, but it looks cute to big gnarly things, everything in between. So these will grow through no matter what winter we have. It's going to go through it. So, and then this one, yeah. This is a cholla or teddy bear cactus. These you do have to respect. Give them some space. Don't put them right where the grandkids are going to wrestle next to them, or they'll come in with. These are really tough. So you put them up against the back fence, the tall ones. You can have the smaller dwarfed varieties, but they just do this with zero care. Oh, I was going to go over how to plant these too, so I'll make sure I'll cover that too. So you'll see our cactus. We put them out in a, it's going to bring one up and show it off, but we have clear cups or hedgehogs. That's what we call them locally. Cute little mounding, grouping things. We've planted those in paper containers. So you can plant the container and all right in the ground. So you don't have to, you cut the, basically you're cutting this off, planting it, holding the roots and planting it. We're trying to find ways to make it easier for you to plant some of this stuff. We've got great big agaves. These are the century plants, the ones that are growing really tall right now. Pokey. They're like planting a porcupine. So we put them in boxes because they're this big around, just pokey, spiny. And so you plant the box, cut the band, and just take the boxes off, and it's planted. So we're trying to find ways to make it easier, or just higher lands, not get you as much. Anyway, cholla, there's 3 or 4 different chollas over there because they all do really, really well here. And so they're one of the few hardy ones. An upright, everyone always asks for a saguaro type of plant, and they don't grow up here. It's a container, bring it indoors for the winter. A big old cactus. This is a trumpet cactus, trumpet flower cactus. It does have a flower that gets quite striking. This will actually get up about this tall. Nice tall spike. Like a miniature saguaro, and it's hardy, maybe 10 degrees. It's not going to go sub-zero, but we so rarely, I haven't seen zero in 15 years. It's so rare. So this is one of those few upright varieties. I've got some cool prickly pears that have the whole thing's just basically white whispering, like it has a white hairdo. Got those are coming. So we're trying to find more sources for cacti that will grow outdoors, not just indoors. We've got quite a few Joshua trees. 3 different varieties. There's the regular Joshua tree. You'll see the Thompson, which is it's a softer yucca tree, basically. So we bred that one. Joshua tree can poke you sometimes. And they all get this big white flower that comes up out of the top. So it's a yucca that just grows up, and it's like a palm tree. And you just trim off the bottom branches, leaves, and then it finally ends up, they're ancient by the time they're this tall. And then there's a Spanish dagger, which is very unusual. It grows down in South Bend, Texas area. Very similar zone to us. So it's got a great big old trunk, and it's a hardy yucca, basically. So take a look at those native, funky, and it would adapt really well. Just don't water them. Just treat them with neglect, and they'll be happy. So anyway, questions lastly. How are we doing online? You guys okay? So let's see. This is, if you want to see what happened or you missed a note, this is live streaming to YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. The easiest place to find it later, cataloged. YouTube has a better way of tracking. You can search it easier, whereas Facebook just buries it quickly down the feed. So that's there for you. What else we got? How to plant. Let's take this sage. That's cool. I forgot to look at that. Sun-loving, little tiny perennial. Does this. You're going to plant all these the same way. I wonder what the root looks like. Let's see if we can. So it's fully rooted. And so a lot of folks on the internet is not your friend, by the way, if you're gardening. It will dumbfound you with everyone that beat this thing up until the dirt comes off. You'll hear that sometimes. I'll massage it a little bit. So these fine root hairs here start to loosen up. Sometimes certain plants will be real rooted at the bottom, so I'll massage the bottom a bit, and that's all I do to the root ball. Then I'm preparing my soil. So you want to dig a hole and the same depth, no matter what it is, a tree, a vine, a rose, a sage, a perennial. Roots go sideways, down there for them to go after. They're chasing water, food, soils. The roots are chasing that. So the roots kind of go down about this deep, and then they start turning sideways. I call it the big hockey stick. And they just start running this way through the yard. They're looking for the flower beds. They're just looking for other irrigation systems. They're looking for other roots, including really big trees. They're going down anywhere. If you know that's how they're going to grow, let's encourage them to grow that way. So we're going to dig the hole that wide, round, that deep. Any roots, chunks of roots, rocks, anything bigger than a golf ball, screen that stuff out. It's bad. It heats up in summer, and then it's too big. The particles are too big to hold water molecules, so it just bakes the soil. So screen out some of that. Obviously rocks and boulders, but smaller stuff too. What's left, you're going to amend. I don't have that here, but we make a mulch. This is potting soil. You could use potting soil. It's kind of overkill in the yard. This is made for raised beds. We actually make one called premium, like coffee grounds. So you mix that in with the native soil, about 1 shovel's mulch to 3 shovels of soil. You can go up to 50-50 if you had to. After that, it gets just too much. The mulch stays too wet. You're trying to reintroduce some organics in there so they'll back down to clay. So it opens it up so the roots can get through it better. You're going to take that blend, backfill around your plant, down around the roots, pack it in like no air pockets in there. They're bad. So the bigger the man, the better. Just lots of weight. Get it down. Just really pack down the soil. Water it in. You're watering the surrounding soil. I find that's a rookie move a lot of folks make. So that ground can be quite dry. So if you're just watering the plant, the dry soil will wick all the water away from the root ball of your plant. Leaving it dry because it's trying to hydrate water, not for the plant, just to rehydrate the surrounding soil so it won't wick away the water in my roots. So it's sometimes a year it's worse than others. Right now we've had some moisture, so that's why fall is such a good time to plant. It's less likely to wick away and do damage to the roots. Okay, but water really well. Don't just water this. Water the 1 inch of water will penetrate about 6 inches of soil. So if you're watering this by hand, and you should, you're probably going to need that much water showing on top to penetrate this whole root ball and a little bit more. So put it in the ground. So then afterward, you're backing it off to probably a couple times a week for a brand new plant until we get our first hard freeze or November sometime. Then you're probably throttling that back to twice a month watering for most of these plants, especially the vines. Makes sense? That's how you do it. I will sprinkle a handful of all-purpose plant food when I'm all done, because your soil is not good. And so you're going to have to reintroduce some nutrients. This is an organic food. I'll just put sprinkle that around there just to, as it gets rain and snow and whatever's coming our way for the next 4 or 5 months. And then these plants, this is the only home it's known. It's going to freak out when you put it in your yard. It is not going to be happy. It's going to be sad, pouty. It's going to complain. It's going to lose a leaf or two. If you give it some root and grow, This is for transplant shock. It's better. It's a compost tea that we make. Looks like molasses. And so you use this every couple of weeks till you see, oh, I think it's happy. I think it's adjusted. So you're using mulch, food, root and grow, and that's your magic 3 things that make it grow. Okay. Questions? Spoons in a gallon of water. This is like a season's worth. Yeah. Yeah. Very much concentrated. Very much concentrated. Yeah. Yeah. So let's use this one. That's a great question. If you have this honeysuckle, because you can see it real easy. So when it's brand new, it has no roots in the surrounding soil. If you put an emitter out here, you're not watering this plant. Year one, I'm going to put that emitter as close to the base as I can. If it's a tree and it's a bigger root ball, I might put 2 emitters at the base. Ideally, if you can put it right here where the plant waters this and maybe some of the surrounding soil. So I'm going to try to be right in this area. I want that water to be on this root. And then next year, you can adjust it because roots will go from here to here. Year two, it's going to go from there to here. A rookie move is I put it out here too far, and it does make a great big teardrop shape. So that one emitter will go down, it waters an area about like this. So you want to make sure it's getting part of that silhouette. Get part of this root ball. So at least for your because roots start going out. So that first season, though, it's dependent on you. But great question. Really good. What else? Doing okay? I will hang out as long as you want. Come and take a look. Take pictures of the tags, whatever you need. But before you go,